This has been a very negative campaign by both sides. There are a lot of people out there running some very nasty and negative campaign ads under your name or under the name of your various PACs.
Well, actually, the truth of the matter is, Steve, that the vast majority of my ads have been under my name, and I've approved them. And when you look at not only my ads, but also how I've campaigned, I'm making a positive case for a specific plan for how we move this country forward.
He took a few hours off the other day to see The Hunger Games.
Governor Romney doesn't have a 5-point plan, he has a 1-point plan.
It's a movie about people who court wealthy sponsors and then brutally savage each other until only one contestant is left standing. I'm sure this was a really great change of pace for him.
Look, the fact checkers have had problems with the ads on both sides and say that they've been misleading and in some cases just not true. Does that disturb you? I mean, some of them are your ads.
You know, do we see sometimes us going overboard in our campaign? Are there mistakes that are made? Are there, areas where there's no doubt that somebody could dispute how we are presenting things? That happens in politics. That happens in politics.
Aren't the American people entitled to the truth or a better version
of it?
The problem is that the way Bush has done it over the last 8 years is to take out a credit card from the Bank of China in the name of our children.
Now, do you remember what that number was? Well, was it 10 trillion? Was it that?
I don't remember what the number was precisely.
Driving up our national debt from $5 trillion for the first 42 presidents. Number 43 added $4 trillion by his lonesome.
Right, but see now, if this is me and I got the credit card guy calling me every day, I start to get scared. I mean, as Americans, should we be scared that we owe that kind of money?
Now, as Commander-in-Chief, I have no greater responsibility than protecting our national security.
We are going to have to pay back $30,000 for every man, woman, and child. That's irresponsible. It's unpatriotic.
The greatest long-term threat to America's national security is America's debt. That's why today I'm pledging to cut the deficit we inherited by half by the end of my first term in office.
But let me first ask you about Libya, the deaths of those 4 Americans, including the American ambassador to Libya, on September 11th. Friday, we got the administration's sort of definitive statement that this now looks as though it was a pre-planned attack by a terrorist group. Why do you think, and are you bothered, that it has taken them this long, from September 11th to now, to get to this conclusion?
It took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror. Pre-planned attack by a terrorist group. Are you bothered that it has taken them this long, from September 11th to now, to get to this conclusion?
That is what we saw play out in the last 2 weeks. It was a crude and disgusting video, sparked outrage throughout the Muslim world. I have made it clear that the United States government had nothing to do with this video. Can you say that a little louder, Candy? It was a crude and disgusting video, sparked outrage throughout the Muslim world.
You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I can get this country on track again. We don't have to settle for what we're going through. I will not reduce the share paid by high-income individuals. I know that you and your running mate keep saying that, and I know it's a popular thing to say with a lot of people, but it's just not the case. Look, I got 5 boys. I'm used to people saying something that's not always true, but just keep on repeating it and ultimately hoping I'll believe it. But that is not the case, all right? I will not reduce the taxes paid by high-income Americans. And number 3, I will not, under any circumstances, raise taxes on middle-income families. Look, the reason I'm in this race is there are people that are really hurting today in this country. And we face this deficit could crush the future generations. What's happening in the Middle East? There are developments around the world that are of real concern. And Republicans and Democrats both love America, but we need to have leadership in Washington that will actually bring people together and get the job done, and could not care less if it's a Republican or a Democrat. I've done it before, I'll do it again. collaborative basis, not because we're going to compromise our principle. I feel very deeply sympathetic for the families of those who lost loved ones.
I know you're under a lot of duress to make up for lost ground, but I think people will be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.